Now, there are 3 reasons why we even aerate our lawns in the first place. The biggest one is water retention. Every single time we plug a hole into the ground, we've now created a gap, which water, seeds, and air can actually fall into, go into, and make sure that there's now something to hold on to the water. Another big reason is that whenever we make those grooves, we've actually decompacted the lawn. We've taken out some of the soil to now work as a top layer to decompose. Very valuable, again, so that your lawn can reduce its stress and have some more room to be able to breathe in for the future. The price of a Ryan Lawn Aerator Aerator in 2020 is about $4,000 with the Honda engine. And hate to say it, but every single year the price has gone up. We bought our very first one in 2014, and it was a Briggs & Stratton engine that we purchased it, but it was $2,700. With the Honda engine, we'd be about $3,100. So the price has increased almost about $1,000 in the past 4 years. Steel's not getting any cheaper. The parts aren't. COVID is, who knows what it's going to do with the current prices of the future. But you know that every single year prices do increase for inflation, but also the price of materials does increase as well. It is always worth the investment to purchase the Honda engine for several reasons. One, it starts a lot easier in my experience, and I've dealt with both of them many times. The Hondas I find are more reliable. When something does go wrong, it's easier to find a Honda dealer to go get that specific part that you need for the quick replacement there. And 2, when you're out doing work or you're aerating your lawn, for example, anytime that something's not working is time you're not making money or time that could be spent doing something else. So there's a cost to reliability, and $400 in the grand scheme of this thing, if you're going to be using it lots, is a small investment for the fact that you can get more jobs done with the equipment that you currently have without repairing there. What I love about this aerator are several things. One is it looks great and it has a very strong steel frame. You need that strong steel frame when you're moving around to be able to ratchet things properly, something to really hold on to, and something that you can make sure that there's something protecting the actual engine in case, worst case scenario, you were to hit a tree or a different form of landscape there. It has some weights that can actually come out and in separately. These weights add additional weight to be able to increase how deep your cores get. Now, you don't need to use the weights, but if you're not using them, it's going to be easier to use the machine, but you're not going to have as deep as a core. Another cool thing about the Ryan Lawn Aerator Aerator is that you have something here called a water drum. You can actually fill this big wheel in the front with water so that you have additional weight. Now, personally at Yard Dogs, we don't fill the drum with water because honestly, it just makes the machine a bit too heavy for us. And we are going to, 12 to 15 jobs per day. It's just not very, the benefits of the extra weight don't exceed the cons of being able to maneuver in quick and easy. Air filter, located right here, quick and easy to replace. And if you ever have a machine that's not starting, the first thing you want to actually check is the air filter. That's sort of, you can see this one's actually quite dirty, and if I was pulling the machine and it wasn't starting, it means the engine can't suck up enough air to get the ball rolling. I don't need to buy a new air filter. I just need to take it off and honestly knock it on the sidewalk, get that dust off, put it back on. This should work, but you should be replacing these bad boys every single month. This one's due for replacement pretty soon, and hey, if we can't get this thing going, you can see me live action knocking it off to get it going for the sake of this video. Because it's such a heavy machine, we do need several things to actually haul this thing around. One is, you do need a good truck. This is a half-ton F-150. You don't need a half-ton to pull an aerator around. A quarter-ton, such as a Toyota Tacoma, will work fine. But that being said, you need some sort of a vehicle or some sort of a trailer to haul an aerator around. Here we are using actually a mount that we had custom made for us to pull an aeration for us. You could use a trailer, but that being said, it's going to be a lot longer, and we're working with a finite amount of space, which is why we had this custom rack made. Last but not least, you're gonna make sure you have a very good way to hold an aerator down, because hey, you are driving, you are on the highway. If something happened, for example, if we had a loose part or one of the secure things weren't holding things down, you hit a bump, you never want to see this thing coming off your truck. It's 300 pounds of steel. That's going to take out Sandra as she's driving behind you. So you need to make sure that you're really having a good, strong way to hold it down. And of course your jerry can, because this takes gasoline. Make sure you don't want to run out as you go forward with the job. So before you even start aerating your lawn, you have to check for a couple things. First and foremost, if you have any sprinkler heads, like an irrigation system, you want to make sure they're marked, because the tines on the aerator could impact and hit and provide some damage to those heads there. Especially if you're doing it for a client, make sure that they mark their own irrigation heads, because sometimes they're hidden in the middle and you don't want to be liable for something like that. Second thing, you want to do a quick walk around to make sure there's no obstacles that you're going to run into. A big thing is children's, pets, toys, even some home and garden tools. Just make sure you clear at the very start, because you never know what you're going to see as you're going. It's a pretty fast machine, and you want to make sure you know where everything is at the time. Before you start, really take note of any hills on a property. I've had some unfortunate moments where going up too steep of a hill, the aerator starts crashing back towards me. And I've had times where I'm going sideways on a hill that's too steep and the machine's actually rolled over and I spilled some gasoline on their lawn. So we don't want that. Here for this lawn, I'm gonna try my best probably to go up and down, because the hill is probably about 25 degrees in slope. That being said though, this one isn't too bad. Some hills are much, much worse, but always check to see how bad the hills actually are before you get going.